Here are 10 very quick tips on how to paint from a reference photo. Now you need to start by choosing that reference photo very carefully. Depending on your ability level, think about how complicated that image looks. There's going to be lots of shapes within there and also colours to consider at the same time. What about the background? Is it complicated? Is it too busy? Or is it just about right? Can you see enough detail when you zoom into it so you can paint more of a sort of realistic interpretation of that particular picture? But do the colours look like they'll be easy to mix? So consider that at the same time. But can you also see everything that you want to paint? Are there bits missing here and there? And if there are, can you make them up? Just to note as well that I do have a video on how to find artist reference photos. I'll pop a little link to the top right hand corner for you. Now, having decided on your reference photograph, take a look and see if there are any parts of it that may look a little bit odd, especially when you include those within a painting. For instance, I decided to leave out the leg on this hedgehog. I probably shouldn't have painted the extra tail on this harvest mouse study, and I ended up removing the extra twig near the robin's foot as well. But even so, it still looks a bit odd really. Now comes the time to print your reference photograph. If you do struggle to see those tonal values, this is a really good time to get your printer to do the work for you. See how much easier it is to see those tonal differences within this fallow deer photo. And that's once I've turned it into grayscale. See, likewise, when I lightened the whole image, I was actually able to see all the fine details as well within the nose. And I found these very difficult to pick out before I started making the changes to the photo. One thing I do all the time when I'm printing to use as a trace down image, for example, is choose an economical setting on your printer first. This way I find it works really well because the image isn't too dark to transfer through, and there's a much better chance that you can see those details that you need to draw over the top of. Another bonus as well is that it saves a lot of ink, especially a picture that all you're doing is tracing from it. A much lighter image is definitely better to work from. As you can see from the chipmunk, I even deleted any unnecessary background as well. So at least that way around I don't print any of that, saving lots of ink. Now if you'd like to see even more of my money saving tips, have a look at the link to the top right. What I suggest you do, make little marks, which I always do as well when I'm doing some drawing out this way around the paper, because if you need to reposition the sheet of paper you can do thereafter. Just remember that when you transfer over the top like that, look, you line up your pencil marks. I've still got mine there. Oh, that's slightly misaligned. So try and get it as close as you possibly can with my sticky tape. I know, strong stuff, even though it's kind to the paper, this tape. Make sure they're lined up, and I can check the ones down the side. Yeah, they're about right. So I'm happy enough with that. Then all I need to do is get my graphite back paper again, which is this crinkly, noisy thing here, and transfer the dolphin through. Now here's another one for you. What about when you transfer an image onto your watercolour paper, but then you forget to include those repositioning marks? And that is my dilemma with this fish. So here's a little tip for you. Look for parts of that image where the outline changes direction. And on this fish I chose the mouth and the tip of the tail. So watch the next video clip and you'll see exactly what I mean. When you get your reference photograph, such as this one as you know, or the outline drawing, what you can do, because I haven't marked it around the edges, you can cut through the sides. So all the basic ones, you've got a pair of scissors like that. Just cut through the side there. The same around towards the mouth, like that, and just around a little bit. And then what I can do, I can very lightly hold this and position it over the top. You can just see where the mouth is on the paper, see that there? And position it accordingly. The same for the tail as well, so I can get the tail roughly about right, which is about there. So that's one way of repositioning your reference photograph or the outline drawing to get it onto the paper, well, more or less right. Graphite paper. Now I've already got a video about graphite back paper, so I'm not going to go through all of that now, but I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll pop a little link to the top right hand corner of the screen. As we all know, the colour can vary quite a lot between images, and sometimes that's also to do with where that photograph was taken. But you'd be quite surprised that there's so many differences when you look at different devices such as an iPad, a tablet or mobile phone or computer screen, and depending on the colour settings of that device that you're viewing the photograph on can look different to another device. So I'd recommend that what you do is to search on the internet for that same subject and look at the different photographs that you can see and take note how all these photographs tend to vary in colour. Now that can depend on the photographer's camera settings, the light of the day, the coloration for that bird for the time of the year. Very often birds are much more colourful during breeding season. They like to show off, of course. And also, as I mentioned, the screen that you're viewing that image on. Even within these photos of a bee eater, the colours range from bright orange tones to even a dull, almost purpley tone. But you're the one that needs to decide which one of those is right. But a little tip as well when you're doing this with a photograph, do plenty of testing first of all on some scrap watercolour paper, just so you know you got the colours about right before you start on that painting. Now finally, if you want to paint realistically, by all means zoom into that photograph so you can pick out where those details need to go and also how they lay. But then I must stress the fact that you need to zoom back out again to roughly the same size as your painting that you're working on. Otherwise you tend to run the risk of trying to paint far too many details within a space that's actually smaller than your reference photograph. And if you did want to do that, you probably need to just use that one hair on that brush. Yeah, okay. So try and keep the reference photograph to the same size as your painting. It's okay to zoom in, just have a look around, but remember to zoom back out. As you can see with this Malabar Danio fish, my reference photograph is probably slightly smaller than my painting. At least this way round, I'm not going to overpaint it, and I'm not going to try to add too many details into that head of this fish. Now, which method do you use to be able to view your reference photographs? Pop a little comment down below and let me know. Now, if you'd like to have a go at painting this lovely fish and over 130 other wildlife subjects, check out my Patreon link down below.